What's up, guys? Ronin Man here. Just taking a little, get some breakfast, walking down the street here. Just thinking about today, about marriage. And I watched a video by Red Pill Philosophy. It was a couple years old, but a really worthwhile video. Red Pill Philosophy is a young guy, and a lot of people in the comments I noticed were putting him down, you know, for being young and supposedly for not knowing anything. I just don't like that kind of thinking. I really, that is so distasteful to me. I think a lot of people watch my channel, you know I'm 52 years old, but I learned so much from younger people. And a lot of my friends are in their 20s, 30s, and I also have a lot of friends in their 70s. So I have a mix of friends, and I think that you really gain so much from young people. I got into Bitcoin because of my younger friends. And that was a very profitable, good thing for me to get involved in, and I'm very grateful for that. And that was like 3 years ago. Thank God is all I can say. So, if you're writing off younger people because they're young, you're really, especially as a MGTOW, where there's limited knowledge anyway. You know, there's limited information out there in the public domain, and a lot of it is tainted. You're really putting yourself in a bad position. And I don't recommend doing that. So either way, so he talked about marriage, and what he said is that a lot of his friends that were getting married were basically saying that marriage is something that you do as an altruistic thing. So to help other people, or you do it for other people, right? And I was raised, when I was young, in high school, in junior high school, I was, you know, as many Americans are, went to church, and I used to go to church a lot, and I was very interested. I even, at one point when I was in high school, I even thought about being a minister, because I like speaking, and a couple times they put me in front of church, and I guess I fired up the old people, you know, and so it was a good thing, and I went to church, and actually know a lot about Christianity, actually, because of that period. We were very serious. We memorized, one of my friends memorized the book of James. You know, we were really pretty serious group back then, and it quickly dissipated when I got to college and started studying, but it was a period of my life, and it was something that I also gained. As with all knowledge, there's always something to gain for an intelligent, you know, creative, inquisitive person, you know. And so I recommend everybody is to always learn from every experience that you can. Don't be angry that you know, things aren't exactly the way you want. Like, just get what you can from everything. There's always something to learn. There's always something valuable to learn. And I learned a hell of a lot from church, actually. But one of the things that I looking back, I thought it was normal at the time, but the emphasis on marriage was really strong in the churches that I went to. It was like a big deal, like one of the biggest. It seems like a lot of the churches were, it was almost like their main goal was to get us married. I really felt like that. And I think other people who, if you went to church, I'd love to hear what your thoughts are, because I'm totally not joking about that. Like, it's almost like if you believe in God, that's great. You know what I mean? Like, that's great. You got to follow Jesus and everything. But the most important thing is to not be a selfish prick, and to have kids, you know, and to have a family, have a wife, you know. And going down this little alley, I've never been down here, so I'm just kind of checking it out here. But you know, so what I heard in high school was endlessly is that you need to marry a woman, you need to make her happy, you need to man up, you need to be a man, and what a man is a God-fearing individual who sacrifices himself for other people. And this is what a man is, and this is our kind of our, what do you call it? It's our lot in life. That's what guys are supposed to do. And so in that philosophy, what's interesting about that philosophy is that one of the main things is that you shouldn't do things for yourself. You should do things for other people. So you shouldn't just think of yourself, right? You should think of other people. And part of thinking of other people is the desire, you know, to make another person happy. So that's kind of a big thing, is making another person happy. That's one of the main, that's one of the messages I got about why a man should get married, is that I love that this alleyway is great. I'm so glad I came in here. So yeah, so okay, let's go back to my thinking. I'm seeing so many good things that my brain is wandering a little bit. This is awesome. What a great little alleyway. Look at this. Look at that. That is great. Full-on Thai houses here. We are deep into a real Thai neighborhood here. Wow, this is so cool. Looks like this is the end. Oh, that's too bad. Okay, we'll go back. So we don't want to disturb anybody because this is their, people live here. So, but it is a neighborhood and it's public, so you're allowed to. Obviously, you can come in, but just good to have good manners and always respect. Remember what people feel, you know. So either way, so okay, so back to marriage. Was in the Red Pill Philosophy video, which I'm going to put below, he said that the goal, and he was told that why you should get married is to make somebody else happy. Don't think of yourself, just think of, you know what I mean, don't just think of what you want, always think of what other people want, right? So that's what the key is self-sacrifice, and that's where you kind of discover.
How are you?
Hey, good.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm very good. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, nice little kitty there.
Yeah.
Oh, he's little.
And accident for motorbike
Oh
and
no.
broken.
Oh, when did that happen?
And go walk and motorbike come.
Oh no. What?
Yeah.
What? Oh, geez. How old is he?
And 6 months.
6 months old.
Yeah. You see?
Yeah.
Broken.
Ooh, I want to help. Yeah. Let me think about what we can do.
And
Yeah.
I don't have money. Take go the doctor.
Yeah. How much do you think? How much for the doctor?
I don't know. Maybe 2,000-3,000 baht to spend cheap.
2,000 or 3,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not doctor for check people. Okay, very cheap.
Okay.
And the doctor and for cat form and the dog to spend cheap.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's,
So and โรงพยาบาลจุฬา
Okay. All right. Well, let me do this. I'm making a video now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna eat.
Yeah.
And then I talk to my friends.
Yeah.
Because my friend is doing a soy dog. Yeah. I can see that.
3 days.
Oh no. Oh, poor thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. How are you? Yeah. You okay? You okay? Yeah. 6 months old. He doesn't need this problem. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
What's your name?
วิไล
Vilai.
Yeah.
Okay, Vilai. Okay. I come back.
Yeah.
I come
yeah.
back.
Yeah.
If I don't see you, I put a note under.
Yeah.
I write a note.
Yeah.
Okay. See you soon, Vilai.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay.
And your name?
Oh, my name's Ronin.
Ronnie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Okay.
meet you.
Yeah. Nice to meet
Yeah,
you too.
yeah,
Okay. See you soon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. This is great. So if she needs some help for the cat there, and the cat, just so you guys know how much that is in dollars, it's less than $100. So she needs for that cat with the leg that was run over. She said she's not quite sure, but she said between 2,000 and 3,000 baht. So I'd like to help her actually. That's a serious thing. You can tell she's a nice person, and that cat is in pain for 3 days. 6-month-old cat. Okay, anybody wants to donate, please send it over, and I will. You know, if you want to add in some money, I would love to right away help that cat, because I don't know how long. You know, with a leg broken like that, without it being fixed, I think it's only a matter of time he's going to be permanently disfigured, probably pretty soon. So either way, so this is what happens in real life, right? When you're out making videos, you know, you meet people, right? So, okay, so let's go back to marriage. So self-sacrifice. So the idea that you can self-sacrifice is or that people that get married are self-sacrificing, and people that stay single are selfish. This is the basic idea. This is what a lot of people think, and this is kind of the philosophy that you hear from a lot of married people, a lot of Christians, is that you know, like this is the way. You have two choices, right? As a man, you can be selfish, or you can be a good person, right? And the way you're a good person is to, oh, can't go through here. Okay, this is the Navy base. There's a Navy base right there. I see. Oh, I didn't know you couldn't. I just kind of wandered here for the first time, so. Oh, this is pretty cool. Right. I know many years ago I could walk through there. They could walk. That they closed it up now. Many years ago, I wandered through this neighborhood actually, when I first found it. Okay, so what is selfishness, and is it even possible? So I wanted to say my thoughts on this is that, for one, the idea that some people are selfish and others are not, and that you can easily choose which one or the other, is something that is not as simple as you might think. A lot of things that we believe are not selfish end up being selfish, as he said in the Red Pill Philosophy, very I thought very articulately, although he was obviously berated big time in the comments. But you know, like, for example, one of the big arguments for marriage is that you don't think of yourself, you should think of making another person happy. Okay, so you should make another person happy. So I'm going to go into the second part of this later, but for starters, I want to say just what he said. So the idea that you do something for her, and that makes you happy, right? So that is a selfish thing in itself, right? Is that if I feel good about it, okay, then I am gaining from it, right? So if I feel good about helping this cat, right, then I feel good about it. So it's not completely selfless, right? It's selfless in the sense that I don't have to do it. You know, I'm not forced to do it, and that it is kind of a nice thing to do, I think, I believe. But at the same time, it's not completely selfless, and I'm not kidding myself on that one, because in the end, I'm gonna feel better when I see this cat's paw all fixed up. I'm gonna feel better. I'm gonna have a good day, right? So I want to also be honest with it, right? But at the same time, I can help the cat. So there is like I would say, this is the only thing I would disagree with Red Pill Philosophy, is that there is a kind of a gray line in the middle between helping people, being selfish, and everything, right? There's certain things that lean more towards being unselfish, and there's other things that lean more towards being selfish. That's my take. Either way, it's not scientific, but I just think that there's certain things that you know, you can do for others. You know, someone might save a dog or cat, or save someone's life and then die. Of course, it is selfish, you know, because they wanted to feel good, or they wanted to leave a legacy. But at the same time, we pretty much agree as a society, and I agree, that they did something worthwhile, bigger than themselves, and that's pretty cool. So I don't want to just break it all down to there is nothing you can do. No one ever does anything nice. Everything is completely selfish. And although at some levels that is true, at the same time, there's a lot of stuff that's not true about. So let's try to nail these. I want to nail each of these complex issues as honestly as possible. Okay, so but the key thing with this one, here's the big thing. Here's the thing I really disagree with, okay, is that the argument that you should get married is an argument that says, you know, like, you should want to make someone happy, okay? You should want to make someone happy. The problem with this is not the selfishness, not selfishness that Red Pill Philosophy said. I think there's another problem, and the problem is that it doesn't work. You know, it's not possible. So this is a major thing. Okay, so for example, let's get out the microscope of real, you know, research here. So let's say that I say to a man, okay, so who's married, and I say, hey, you know, why did you get married? And then he says, well, the reason why is because didn't want to be selfish. I wanted to, you know, make somebody else happy besides myself. Okay, so we get that from him. So we interview him. Okay, so the next thing we do is we say, okay, right, let's see if I get my thing focused again here. We go to the woman that he married and say, just, don't tell her anything of what we're doing. We just say, like, are you happy? Are you happy with your life? Like a very large percentage of marriages end up in divorce. So something around 80% within 10 years in the Western society. So let's just say it's a high percentage. Okay, so whether it's anywhere, there's different, people say different things, but I would say it's very, very high. We all know that. It's one of the big issues of our day, is that the high rate of divorce. So whatever the exact number is, it's very, 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 very high. And it's not told to guys when they get married, right? The risks are not told. So, okay, so the rate is high. So that in itself says that more than 50% of the people are not only not happy, but they're so unhappy that they actually get divorced. So the sacrifice, supposedly self-sacrifice that these guys made, didn't work in over 50% of the cases. Like it didn't work, and it didn't just not work. It didn't work so bad. I mean, so miserably, terribly bad that the woman actually wanted to be away from him forever, right? Which is divorce. So that tells you something. That should really wake you up right there. Is that in real life, we're not seeing a lot of women that are saying things like, hey, I am very happy. And why am I happy? I'm happy because this man makes me happy. This man really makes me happy. If you ask most women, they're not going to be happy. They're going to be like, well, I'm not happy. I'm very unhappy about this. I'm not happy about this. I'd like to change this. And then obviously they get divorced. And so, okay, how do I put this? Okay, if you're going to, sometimes it's difficult because like society has got so accepted of these concepts of marriage and like young guys getting married to make girls happy that we're so used to it that we it's almost like we can't even question it, But okay, let's just say, for example, that women are not becoming happy, and we interview these women, married women, and say, are you happy? And they say, well, maybe. And they say, well, is your husband making you happy? That's another question. So one depth of question is, are you happy, right? Are you very, happy with your life, right? Happy is not a small thing, right? Are you happy? I would say most would probably say no. I'm not happy with this, I'm not happy with that. A lot of people are on depression pills. That's a very obvious sign they're completely unhappy, right? So, they're overweight, on pills, getting divorced. So you can pretty much say out of hand that these people are not happy. That's the reason why they take the pills, right? That's why you go to the doctor. They're not happy, right? So that's one thing. But that's just general happiness. But the other issue is, does the guy make them happy? Now, if we ask these same, let's say, psychologists who are saying that you should be, if you read any article online about why you should get married, you should do it for her, you should make her happy, don't do it for yourself, do it for other people. If you read these articles, they will say that. But if you ask them in another context, like if you say something like, like as a man, you come up to a psychologist and say, look, is it possible for me to make a person happy? Can I make people happy? Like, can I do that? Is it possible for me to, like, I want to make someone happy, right? I want to do this. Like, it's easy, right? The whole reason the argument is getting married is that you're going to make people happy. So let's just not put marriage into it. Let's just say something else. Like, I want to make my child happy. I want to make this guy lives down the street happy, right? I want to make my dad happy. What would be the first thing that a psychologist would say when it's taken out of the marriage context, okay? When it's just like, I want to make another human being happy. What's the very first thing they would say? The very first thing I would hear is, it's not possible. Like it's difficult enough to make yourself happy, right? It's difficult to be happy. It's difficult to, a lot of people are not happy even on their own, not to mention other people, making other people happy. So they would say the first thing is it's impossible for one human being to make another human being happy. And that, I'm not saying some dire circumstance. I'm saying that most psychologists would say, and I would say most human beings would say, that the way that you can get happy is only on your own. You have to decide, you have to go for the goals, you have to improve yourself. There's a lot of complex things you need to do. You need to always be changing and improving. You know, you can't stay happy based on a temporary fix. You have to always be moving ahead. Nothing that makes you happy short term is going to make you happy forever. So that couch that you bought is not going to make you happy later. So anything you buy is not going to make you happy long term. The things that you improve yourself, if you win a gold medal, a lot of the gold medal winners are very depressed afterwards, and even commit suicide and sell their gold medals on Craigslist, because it doesn't mean much to them anymore once they're done. So it meant a lot of what a period of time, a certain snapshot of time, but long term that gold medal didn't make them happy. They needed to go to do new things to be happy. They needed to always keep improving. So even the idea that you can make yourself happy is difficult, okay? And I think a lot of us MGTOW are trying to do that. We're actually trying to improve our lives and to make ourselves happy, and to increase the odds that we're going to be happy people. We're cutting out things that are not good for us. We're changing, we're making difficult decisions to change things. We're discarding things that don't that we realize upon self-examination are not important, and we are changing relationships that might be painful in order to reach what we believe is more happiness, right? So even as a person trying to reach happiness, it's a slippery slope. It's a difficult thing, and I think it's a very, very, very worthwhile thing to do. But the idea that you can make yourself happy in itself is something that we want to do. It's a great goal. It's fantastic, but again, it's not that easy. And you can see with the amount of people taking depression pills, you can see that it's not working for most people, right? I still believe I believe I'm carefree and happy, you know. So I have that as a goal, and I'm always trying to, and I need to keep improving to keep that, right? I can't rest on my laurels, right? So the idea that you can make another person happy in another context, like outside of the marriage context, no reasonable person would say it's possible. I mean, you can't make your children happy. You can't make the guy down the street happy. You can't make your grandfather happy. I mean, we all know this. We all know this. Like, there's no way you can make another person happy. It just doesn't work. It's not the way we're built. Like, you can just make someone happy. Like, how do you even know what they want? Not to mention, like, give it to them, right? So for example, like gifts. Like, I don't like gifts because if somebody really cares about me, they'll spend a bunch of money on something, but it's almost 100% not what I want. You know what I mean? It's just something that they think I want. And it's very, very rare that somebody will actually know, like, oh my gosh, Ronin Man really wants this one specific thing. Whereas like something like money is good because the money is exchanged for something else, and I can decide what I want. And so money is a great gift. That's one thing in Asia they got right. They always give kids money instead of gifts, because the kids can go spend the money on what they want, right? There's an envelope, a hongbao, the red envelope, and then the kids get money, and then the kids can go, and they also have responsibility then, because they have to decide what they want, how much it costs, what they're going to do with the money, and get a little bit of and they also get a little bit of the sting of the whip. And, you know, at a young age, they realize that it's not that easy to make themselves happy, and like buying things doesn't really make you happy. So they get a lot of lessons, you know, and Western kids do too. They get, you know, they learn when they get presents that, you know, often it doesn't make them happy, but that is a good lesson. So buying things can't make you happy. Other people can't make you happy. I mean, I think that, you know, happiness is it's not a snapshot in time. It's actually, happiness is actually a long-term, day-to-day thing. So it's not like, hey, I'm happy and I'm always going to be happy. You know, no, it's a complex thing, and also you react. So for example, if I reach a certain amount of wealth in my life, I might think that's going to make me happy forever, right? Like, you know, hey, once I get this, I'll be happy, you know. But then the reality happens is that I get used to it. And so it doesn't necessarily make me happy like I thought it was going to, right? So this is another problem with happiness. It's a big problem with happiness, is that, you know, you get used to things, kind of like heroin, right? If you do heroin, or if you do drugs, or if you drink too much, you'll get used to whatever it is that you drink, and you'll need more. You'll always need more and more and more, and the happiness will be less and less and less. So goods can't make us happy. I seriously argue with the fact that other people can make other people happy. So what I'm saying is it's a total farce. It's marriage, the idea, the arguments that are for marriage are such a farce. And the thing is, those same arguments, if you put them on the table and don't mention marriage, the same people who are telling you to get married because you need to make other people happy would totally disagree with you. They would say that's crazy. You can't make anybody happy. Who do you think you are? You think you're God? You know, what's wrong with you? Like, don't you understand? Like, people have to make themselves happy. Like, how, you know, how can you even think that? Right? It's like crazy, right? That you can make somebody else happy. I mean, go try today. Go down and make somebody happy. And I don't mean just for 5 minutes. I mean happy. Happy means for the rest of their life. That's what we're talking about here. We're not talking about just give a girl an orgasm, right? We're talking about the rest of her freaking life. Making someone happy. The concept that they talk about in marriage is make someone happy. They ain't fucking around here. They're not talking about buy her like a cupcake and she smiles kind of happiness. No, man. They're talking like the whole schmeal, right? The whole schmazel, whatever you call it. The whole deal, right? Is her whole life, right? So it's just it's a crazy idea to start with, and it's just a sign of one of these things. Like, when you start to be MGTOW and you start to see the insanity of the arguments of why you should do things, just pick them apart. I mean, you know, make a video or send me some comments and I'll make another video about it, because it's very easy to pick these ideas apart. And once you start to do that, it becomes much easier to be your own man, because you just realize the insanity of this whole thing. Like, you can't make anybody happy. You know that. Come on. You've tried before, right? You can't do it. You know, red pill philosophy is like, okay, just doing it, making someone happy is selfish. I say much, much more deeper problem is the fact that you can't. Is that you simply can't make anybody happy. You can try to do nice things, right? Like, I can try to buy you a present, right? But I might buy you the wrong thing, or I might give you something that ruins your life. A lot of people who get a bunch of money in say a lottery, they end up dead, or, you know, broke and no friends. It's a very, very common thing. So the idea that money is going to make you happy, the idea that not having to work is going to make you happy, the idea that coming to Thailand is going to make you happy. And that's one thing I worry about a little bit, is that I know I've learned over time some things, right, that make me happy at some level, right? And it's a complex bunch of many, many things. It doesn't mean that it's the same for you. So I want to end on this story, which is really a great story, I think. Although it's not a MGTOW story, but I think it'll illustrate the point that I'm trying to make. There was an old man. He was an old sailor, and he would talk to this young man, and he would tell him stories of the sea. And, you know, the old man would tell him about all these great things he had seen, but he had one particular story. Was I think it was the blue trees against the green whatever. Like, it was basically this beautiful, beautiful scene. Okay, it doesn't matter what color things were. It's this beautiful beach that was so unique and so different than everything else. And it was just like this place you have to see. You have to see this place. Like, that's why being a sailor is cool, because of this place. Like, because of these things that I saw, it makes life great. The problem is the young guy was in love, and he was in love with his high school sweetheart, or whatever, his childhood sweetheart. And he was going to get married, and he loved her. Now, the old man, who MGTOW would say did him a favor, that still doesn't negate the story. Okay, actually I could argue that too. The young man told the young woman, said, "Hey, I'm off in search of the trees beneath the sands and the wind and blah blah blah, all the things that the old man had described." And the woman, who really loved him too in this story, wished him well. She was like, I want you to be happy. I want you to go, and I want you to do what you want to do. I want you to be the man that you want to be. So he did. He left. And then he came back several years later, and she was married with kids. He ran into her. And this is pretty. This is really nice here. It's a nice, Thailand, the flowers are great. There's always some pretty flowers here. Like, every season, like, it's rainy season now, but it's always like this. There's always a beautiful flower here, like, all the time. Not always the same flower, but so he and she said, "Did you see the I can't remember exactly what it was, but the story, right?" And he said, "Yeah, it was just some you know, blue trees and green sand or whatever, you know. And then and he gave up everything that he really cared about to do this one thing that this old man had planted in his mind was going to make him happy. But the thing is, he was very unhappy because this particular guy in the story, and this is an old story, so maybe back then it was maybe made sense, wanted to be married to this woman and loved her, and he lost her because he chased this story that another man told him was so important, you know, and he believed it 100%, and enough that he gave up the thing that he really cared about, and to do this other thing. So the story is basically like, as a person, as a human, you want to listen to the stories. You want to listen to my stories. You want to think, you want to listen to what other people learn about what makes them happy. You know, if living in Thailand for me is fantastic. I love it. Living in Asia is great. I've been here since the 80s and I love it. And I feel so free. I feel so away from feminism and the whole philosophy over there. And you know, SJWs don't even exist here. And I love that. But at the same time, you have to really think about yourself and who you are, right? I mean, okay, now, just to back up, it took me a long time to become this. I was not this when I got here. This is many, many years of growing and wisdom and learning and experimenting and things. But still, you need to think about yourself, what makes you happy. Because what makes me happy might not make you happy. And you have to consider that, right? You have to listen to other people's stories about what made them happy. And I think it's worth trying a lot of stuff, but you have to just think, maybe this won't work. Maybe this won't be the thing that does it for me. Maybe Ronin Man is awesome, does his thing. Maybe it won't work for me. Maybe I will feel different, right? That has to go through your mind. Now, I still think that there's a lot of wisdom that can be made from people that see a lot of things. So I've been to like 50 countries and I've lived all over the world. And I think that I believe there's some kind of wisdom I've gotten about what's good and what's bad and what's real, what's not, and what's long-term, what's short-term. I think that there is a lot of wisdom I've got. But hey, I ain't you, man. I ain't you. You are you. And there's only one you. So you need to really think about who you are and ask pointed questions and get in deep. Don't let somebody just tell you some story of the trees beneath the wind, right? You need to figure out what it is that, you know, would sing blue trees and, you know, the green beach or whatever it was. You know, would that give you wood? Would that be like something that would just make you feel so great like it did that old man? Now, I'm going to give that old man credit. I'm going to say that scene was a very meaningful spiritual experience for him. But I mean, for me, I'll tell you this, and this is something I learned a long time ago, is that seeing things does not make me happy, personally. This is a personal thing. But I remember when I went to the Eiffel Tower, when I was like 21 or 22, I went to see the Eiffel Tower, and I did not feel anything. I didn't feel any, like, really, nothing really. I just kind of, it was cold, it was January, it was miserable, it was windy, and I just looked at it and I saw like a metal structure and I was kind of surprised. Back then it was pretty shoddy, back in, when was that? Geez, that was way back. 1987, you know. It was pretty shoddy back then. And it didn't look like it does today. It's all cleaned up now with lights on and everything. But, you know, it was cool. It was, you know, it's fine. I mean, it's, in some senses, it was a very beautiful thing built in the 1800s and a gorgeous, tallest building. You know, it was really neat. But it didn't do anything for me emotionally. I didn't feel any happiness sitting there looking at it. Now I'm thinking, like, why am I feeling this way? Why do I not feel anything? I came all the way across the world to come here. I don't feel anything. But see, these are the things you need to look at. You need to be honest with yourself, because don't let the fucking emotion of some other person carry you away where you think what they're telling you is what you feel. You always need to look at it. What works for me? How do I feel about it? Right? And that's how you discover who you are, because you start to say, wait a second, I don't care about this. And people were like, well, you have to care about this. You know, I talked about before in the morning, I used to be very into coffee, and I spent a ton of money on coffee, the best coffee. You know what I mean? Nothing was too good. I would spend any amount on coffee. And then today, I just take instant coffee and I stick it in my mouth. I pour it in my mouth in the morning, and then I take water and I swish it around in my mouth and I drink it. And that's how I do my coffee. And it's almost like a little bit of a rebel, because I just realized I don't care. I just literally don't care. All I want is a lot of caffeine, and I like the taste of coffee. So when you put a lot of instant coffee in your mouth, you get a very strong coffee flavor, and I like it. It makes me happy. And it makes me happy to realize that I don't know anybody else in the world who does this, you know, but see, that's the thing. See, that's how you discover who you are, is by discovering these little quirks about yourself, about what makes you happy. And if you think for even a second that you can somehow do this for a woman, okay, is that you marrying her is going to somehow make her happy, you're completely, I think you're really not thinking honestly about it, and you're not looking at the people that you supposedly made happy in the past. You know, it just doesn't work. So don't get married because you think you're going to make them happy. That's period, right? Don't do anything because of that. If you want to do something nice, like I want to help this cat we just saw, you know, that's fine. That's going to make me feel good. And if anybody wants to donate some money, I'll put the link, I'll put my PayPal below. You're welcome to send some money. Like I said, it's less than $100. So if anybody wants to donate, you're definitely welcome to. And we will take the cat down to the hospital, do a video. We'll do it all. We'll get that cat in the hospital, get him fixed up. We'll have his little leg all, you know, all whatever they do to it, you know, have it all sewed up, or a stent or a cast, or, you know, whatever they can do, whatever the doctor can do. We'll do all that stuff on video if you want to help. So if that makes you happy, right? If that makes you happy, right? Not to make the cat happy, right? Although it would be nice to see the cat, you know, cruising around, you know, climbing trees and stuff. That would make me happy. So that's why I stopped. That's why I talked to her. So if you feel the same way, you're welcome to help out. So either way, Ronin Man signing off, and I hope there's been something useful for you here. Thanks for subscribing. Thank you for all the great comments. These days it's out of control. I love it. Every day it makes me happy. Speaking of being happy, when I see your comments, even the negative comments, I feel very happy, because it's not about being positive, right? This is about, we are trying to figure out how to fucking live life. It's a contact sport, right? It's something we really need to dig in there, and we need to debate stuff, and we need to be honest with ourselves. It's not something that's easy, or, you know, easy breezy, one shot, one kill, you know. It's complicated, right? Real life is complicated. So I appreciate the negative comments. I appreciate the positive comments. I appreciate the thoughtful, freaking super in-depth, 3-page long comments you guys are leaving. Man, I tell you, I read every single one. And if I don't reply, there's only 2 possibilities. One is I just forgot, like I restarted my computer. Or if it's a very hateful comment, then I tend not to reply. But if it's a good comment, there is a very small chance that sometimes the algorithm, there's so many comments now that it doesn't show me a comment. And so like 2 or 3 weeks later, I'll see a reply to the comment, and I'll realize, oh my gosh, I didn't even see this one. So there's actually a good comment that somebody left a few weeks ago I want to reply to, but I don't know if I can find it again. So I'm going to do my best. So either way, I do take them seriously, and they really enhance my knowledge, and also are very enjoyable to read another intelligent man's comment, right, on life, right? And that's what it is. It's a community, and I love it. So thanks, guys. Have a great one.